So I moved positions because I felt like this is a little bit cuter and you get to still see my Christmas tree in the background, so it all works out. Okay, so today's video is going to be talking about how beauty is completely and utterly useless without intelligence. I do want to say that in this day and age, it seems like everyone is idolizing the idea of being this utterly beautiful person, and once they achieve that status, once they achieve that level, that is when everything will fall in place into their life, and only then will they be able to have the relationship that they want, the happiness that they're looking for, the car that they want, the house. We live in a day and age where enough is not enough. We are constantly trying to press the boundaries of what it takes to be beautiful, what it means to be beautiful, and the results that we're expecting from beauty alone is kind of ridiculous. Beauty is kind of like a necessary evil in our society. It got very fucking depressing when I realized that it felt like I was stuck, like I didn't have any way out. Like I either had to play by the rule book of our society, which is regardless of what you were dealt with and what you were born into, you either use your looks, use money, or use status or your intelligence or talents or whatever to get to where you want to be. And it felt like the necessary evil was that I had to look a certain way in order to get what I wanted out of life. Whenever people are complaining about how, like, again, this video is going to be for people who are not like overtly sensitive, because this is really just the reality of life, is that beauty is going to open a lot of doors that you may have not had access to had you not made some changes. It's literally just how we are as humans. When you go to the grocery store and you're in the produce aisle, you pick the fruits that look the healthiest, right? The prettiest, the ones without blemishes or scars or anything like that. That's just innately what we're drawn to. I've been overweight and ugly to society before, and because I've seen that side of the coin, I will never ever be the type of person to denigrate someone or look down on someone or mistreat someone based on how they look. That's just not the type of person that I am. And I don't think that understanding the importance of beauty in our society gives you leeway to be shitty to people because of how they look. I just want to lay that out there first, right? There's a lot of disclaimers with this type of topic because it is so sensitive. But I think that as a woman in this day and age, if you want to make the most out of your life, like, this is the bitter truth. If you want to make the most out of your life, you need to appeal to the senses and the basal urges of human nature, which is appreciating beauty and only listening and tuning into things that are beautiful before the message gets through. Unfortunately, that is the reality that we live in. That is not to say that if you don't fit into those binaries and you don't fit into this mold of what it means to be beautiful, that you're not going to excel or move forward in life. That's not the case. But I think where people go wrong is that they then falsely attribute being beautiful as the end-all be-all and what it takes to live a good life. And that couldn't be further from the truth. When I was younger, like my teenage years, I thought I was really hot, but I also hated myself. Like, I loathed myself, like, to the depths of my bones. I thought I was the worst thing ever. So glad I don't feel like that anymore. I felt like I was invisible. It came to the forefront more for me when I went off to college and was actually trying to start dating and trying to make more friends and stuff like that. And it felt like my physical appearance was hindering me from attracting the types of people that I felt were really cool or interesting or good looking. And so it made me hate myself a lot more. At the same time, I knew that the only way to get out of that rut was to love myself into being someone who was better. I think that's where we go wrong a lot of the times when it comes to wanting to change our habits and become a better person, is we think we need to hate ourselves and be mean to ourselves and bully ourselves into becoming a better person. That literally does not work. I don't care who you are. Some people, it works for a little bit, but you are breaking yourself down internally without even realizing it. It does not work to hate yourself to level up. That's not a thing. Where I am today is because I loved myself enough to say, hey, I'm just not gonna eat that, right? So I can lose some weight. Or I'm gonna love myself enough to invest money into Invisalign and fix my teeth that I was so insecure about since way back, since time. Especially when it got to dating. When I started dating, and unfortunately my introduction to dating was through online dating, so my only place of feeling validated in my looks was through online dating, which is a horrid place. I'm gonna make so many videos about dating and just relationships because, guys, I've learned so much you wouldn't even believe. Anyway, when I started online dating and I would like specific people and they wouldn't like me back, I literally was offended because I was like, what's going on? The way I saw myself mentally was not matching up with the reality of what I felt my choices should have been. What I felt that I was supposed to be attracting, I wasn't getting. And it was confusing me because I was like, this is not adding up. But with each rejection and with each feedback that I would get, and as far as like the people that I saw that were attracted to me, I realized that there was a lot of things that I needed to change about myself. And initially I started changing these things to get a better result. It felt kind of like a game online dating did at that time. It felt like if I input X, I'm gonna get a different result Y. If I take this picture and I post this one instead of this one, what is the caliber of men or women that I'm gonna attract? Initially, this set me off on like a weight loss journey. I always knew I had to lose weight because in my adolescence, I ended up reaching a peak weight of, honestly, I don't think I even weighed myself, but the highest that I weighed was 198 pounds. And so I knew I had to lose weight. I knew all these things about myself. I knew I was insecure about my gap teeth and my skin and my hair and my edges and all of that stuff. And I knew I had to fix those things for myself. But the initial push and the initial motivator behind why I started even improving myself, as shallow as it may seem, was to get better results out of my life. Guys, I would hate to be a teenager in this day and age. I feel like the bar for being a beautiful woman just keeps rising and rising and rising. I feel like the standards of beauty are just astronomically insane right now. There's so many girls that I see who post on forums, on Reddit, on YouTube videos that are talking about glowing up, leveling up. How do I glow up? How do I level up? How do I blah, blah, blah? And it's so crazy to me to see that because it's like I literally was there, and it feels like just a few years ago that I was there and I was that person desperate to change how I looked, hoping and just wishing that it would be the catalyst in my life improving overall and me actually learning to like myself, when that wasn't the case. Because I realized very quickly that fixing the external veneer of yourself and your shell can only do so much if you have no substance and intelligence to back it up, and if you have no social grace to back it up. I used to be horribly socially anxious. I don't know why, and I'm gonna use the target audience as teenage girls right now because I see so many teenage girls and just people in general completely conflating the idea that being beautiful automatically guarantees you an easy life. It does not. It literally does not. Don't get me wrong, being beautiful will make your life like a hell of a lot easier in some aspects, right? It can progress your career. It can help you enter rooms that you had no capability of entering if you didn't look the way you did. I'm not gonna lie to you and say that it has no bearing on how far you can go in our society. However, it does not guarantee you a happy, healthy relationship. It doesn't guarantee you to be making a lot of money. It doesn't guarantee you to not be abused or not be taken advantage of by others. In fact, it definitely places a higher target on you. And so going from an ugly duckling or a late bloomer, as I identified myself as, to someone who was beautiful and got everything that I wanted, the things that I got that I wanted were not a result of me solely becoming prettier. The top 3 important things that a woman should have is beauty, intelligence, and when I say intelligence, I mean mixed with social grace and the ability to be socially adept. That's very important. And I think people take that they literally undervalue that so much. In fact, social adeptness is probably what's going to take you up the ranks of society more than being beautiful will. I feel like that makes like a lot of sense. So that's what I'm going with. Being beautiful is not an end all be all. It's not going to protect you from the world. If you think and you stop yourself from getting that opportunity, if you stop yourself from doing those things because you feel like you're not physically where you want to be yet, you are wasting your time. The road of self-development and getting hot and all of that stuff, that is so much more than focusing on finding out your kibby body type or your color season or your face shape. It's so much more profound than that, because the development that you're doing is healing your soul from all the lies that the world has been telling you since you gained any sort of cognizance. So it's kind of very tricky, because in becoming more beautiful and using it as a weapon, which is what I really see it, beauty is fun for me, right? I love getting dressed up and wearing makeup and doing my hair, but I use it as a strategy. It's not a mindless preoccupation that I have. It's something that I use with intentionality, I should say. And I use it as a tool along with all the other tools in my toolbox to get what I want out of life. I guess I can relate it to if you have like a very broken, dilapidated building and someone contracts you to fix it up, and instead of fixing it up, you just slap a fresh new coat of paint on it, and you're like, there you go. But there's still so much rot and broken structures underneath. Just because you have the fresh coat of paint on it doesn't mean that that's not still there, and that's not still going to fester and create an even bigger problem for whoever moves into this hypothetical house. So that's kind of how I view focusing solely on beauty and not really targeting the issues that lie beneath. And I think why people don't even talk about it so much is because it takes so much more work and so much more tears to work through those, and it's not something that you can neatly tidy up or tie up in a video. It takes lots of videos to, like, of course you can tie up like 10 beauty tips that I use to glow up, or this is my new hygiene routine. I love those videos, don't get me wrong, but there are far less videos on how to heal your soul and how to become beautiful from the inside. And more than that, there are far less people willing to do the work it takes to heal themselves from inside. I think that's really what shows outward. There are so many beautiful women with shit, like floor level self-esteem. It's insane. I hate when people talk about, oh, you're beautiful, that's why you get this beautiful guy or whatever. And it's like, you don't know what their relationship is like, or even a beautiful woman getting with like a horrible man, and people are like, oh my god, how did he get with her? And I'm like, her self-esteem is low. She doesn't think very highly of herself. That's how she got with him. They're actually a pretty good match. Her self-esteem is low, and he validates the fact that she should have a low self-esteem. Just because she's pretty doesn't protect her from being mistreated. It is so incredibly important to be a well-rounded person. And I think people have kind of lost that. It's more than just having one character trait being the center focus of who you are. It's really, really, really important to be someone with substance, basically. Before I wrap up this video, I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys some tips on how you can make sure that you're focusing on improving your whole self rather than just your veneer. The biggest change for me when I started really attacking all the issues that I had in the past was facing the fears of myself that I didn't want to look at. The parts of myself that I didn't like, the parts of myself that was lazy, was not accomplishing anything because I severely loathed myself, and acknowledging it and just being like, okay, I don't like these things about myself, but at the end of the day, that doesn't take away from who I am. During the time when I really learned to have a healthy self-esteem and I'm still working through that, but it's much better, and it's to the point where I'm unshakable now. But I still feel like I've got like a little gap where I really want to cement it and make sure that I'm absolutely impenetrable to external criticism that is useless. It's a daily practice. Something as simple as doing mirror affirmations for 5 minutes, 10 minutes when you first wake up in the morning. Even if you don't want to like speak in the morning, because usually when I wake up, I don't want to speak. There's an app called Parrot that you can record yourself saying anything and then play it back for however long. And so sometimes I'll just listen to that or listen to affirmations in the morning. It sounds so, I guess, corny to do affirmations and to say those things, but I kid you not, they actually fucking work until it finally stuck, until one day I actually believed it. And more than believed it, I was it. I was beautiful. I was that girl who was getting the type of acknowledgement that I wanted. And that is the craziest part of life, is seeing how your internal world and how you view yourself molds completely your outside life. And it's actually insane. It feels like magic. It feels like a cheat code. And that's the importance of, even when leveling up like your physical looks, the importance of patience cannot be understated. There's a lot of progress and improvement that you're gonna make. They're so minuscule in how much effort it takes, but will make the greatest change from where you started and where you are now. And you won't notice those little things, those little steps passing by with each day, but they do take effort in the fact that you need to be consistent. Even when we take something like my Invisalign, for example, that I feel like made the biggest change to my physical appearance, those little minuscule steps that I took every day with making sure I wore the Invisalign trays all compounded into the result that I get to enjoy today. A lot of times people are just so eager to circumvent or bypass the time that it takes to get a certain result and to get an outcome that you are actually fully okay with. And because we want shortcuts all the time, that inhibits us from fully enjoying the process and enjoying the slow but beautiful change that takes place when we go from like a reality that we don't enjoy, a body that we don't like, a job that we don't like, to the home of our dreams, the job of our dreams. I finally really understand what people meant when they're like, it's about the journey, not the destination. I think of how I'm not even where I want to be right now in a lot of aspects of my life, but I feel content in who I am. Sometimes I think about, like, I imagine myself with every single thing that I want on my list. Yeah, okay, just like sit in it, imagine that I have every single thing that I am asking for, that I'm looking for. And then just as quickly as that beautiful feeling comes, it goes, because the enjoyment and the satisfaction of getting that thing that we think is the key to unlocking so much happiness, it's not as fun as struggling and working to get it. That part is where the fun lies, right in the middle, from this shitty place that you don't like and you don't want to be here at all, to I have everything that I want and I don't even know what else I could ask for because I'm so fucking happy. This in between is the best part, and it's so much fun. And the more you lose yourself in the in-betweenness of it, the more exciting and the more you enjoy the result. And so it's not something that you take for granted. And it's just the most exciting thing. It isn't a human's nature to, I mean, we have that thing called like the hedonic treadmill or something like that humans all innately have. Irrespective of whatever like subject or topic we're talking about, we all have like a certain level of baseline level of happiness, right? When you really work at something and you put your blood and your sweat and your tears, and you have like the spiritual guidance on your side and all that stuff, it really leads you into fully enjoying and respecting all the work that you did to get to that point, so that when you do have that thing, you value it more because of how much work you had to put in. How can you improve your package? Beauty, intelligence, and social awareness. Social adeptness and being able to be socially mutable, and intelligence. You can improve your intelligence and your social adeptness by working on your self-concept. Having a self-concept that you are intelligent, that you are hardworking, that you are all these other positive characteristics, and more than that, prove it to yourself that you are those things. If you are in school, prove it to yourself by going to the library and studying and making sure that you're getting really good grades. Every time you succeed in doing something that your body and your mind thinks is hard, even if it's just a little bit, even if you increase your next exam score by 2 points, you're proving to yourself and to your subconscious that you have what it takes. And every time you do that, your mind and your subconscious is impressed by you, and it reflects in your reality and in your consciousness. And so it starts becoming like a solidified part of your identity. It's so beautiful how that happens. It can be reflected even in something surface level like beauty. When you dress up and you take more pride in how you look when you go out, your subconscious enjoys the fact that you are getting attention, and you feel more confident because you don't feel like you need to hide whenever someone sees you. Therefore, your consciousness equates that to you being beautiful, and then eventually you understand yourself innately to be beautiful. And when I say intelligence, I guess I mean being able to be smart enough to play the game that society already has you in and play to the best of your ability. You do that by knowing the rules of the game. You get to a point of understanding that all of these different books kind of focus down onto one shared message, which is that your self-concept needs to be strong. Only then will you be able to create the type of life that you're looking for. And you have to be able to have that intelligence to understand those concepts that you're reading in different books and stuff like that in order to apply them and get the results that you're looking for. Anyway, guys, that is all.